Oh man, I'm so glad I'm not filming outside today. It is so hot. Check this out. You see that? 36 degrees outside, but feels like 41 degrees. Screw that. So the past few weeks have been all over the place for me, a lot of exciting shoots happening, and I've also been in Melbourne shooting a wedding, and then I was in Sydney for a few days working with Google on the release of their new Google Assistant. And on top of that, I'm about to leave in 4 days for a week-long trip to New Zealand. I'm also shooting a wedding there, but I'm staying a little bit longer so I can film some content for you guys. I'm really excited. If you want to see more of like what I get up to on a daily basis, you can head over to my Instagram and check that out. I post stories all the time. I'll leave the link in the description below for you guys. Today I'm filming a Q&A. So a little while ago I put out a story on Instagram asking for you guys to send through any questions that you had for me. I got asked some really great questions, so thank you all so much. I'm going to be doing my best to answer some of my favorite questions in this video today. And if you've been thinking about picking up my preset pack for Lightroom, today is the day. I'm going to be running a little discount. So if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to leave a little promo code that you can use to get 50% off the presets. All right, let's jump into the Q&A with the first question. Morganmallory.98 asks, what is your favorite lens for the Canon EOS R? And I gotta say, it's probably a tie between the Sigma 35mm 1.4 and the Sigma 20mm 1.4. I've really been enjoying shooting the 20mm for like travel and landscape sort of stuff. I haven't tried much RF glass yet, but I'm really looking forward to trying some this year and seeing if they're worth adding to my bag. J Kim asks, can you do a tutorial on photo editing? Yes, of course. I've got a few videos lined up where I'm going to be showing you my entire editing process when it comes to like landscape and travel photos, and that's really exciting. It should be coming to the channel really soon. Witty Wave asks, how do I start in my editing process? For me, it always starts with my preset. That's the first thing I do. I apply the preset and then I tweak the white balance and the exposure. But before I had a preset, I would probably start with the white balance, definitely. That's the first thing I'm going to do, and then correcting the exposure, and then I'll go through pretty much how Lightroom has it set up, you know, from top to bottom. It's a pretty good workflow. I would just, you know, work your way down the list. MVisuals asks, what's the longest you've gone without sleep and why? I'm gonna have to say it's probably one of the times that I flew to Europe because I can't sleep on planes, and so it was really hard. I think my travel time in total last time was something like 38 hours, and then when I landed it was like first thing in the morning, so I think I just stayed up for that entire day. So I probably stayed up for maybe like 50 plus hours. That's probably, in my recent memory, the only time I can remember staying up for a really long time. Okay, so Milton Rodriguez asks, how can someone expand their photography business and getting clients, especially if they've moved to a different city? When you move to a new city, you can't just expect to continue from where you left off. You're going to have to, in some respects, go back to square one and start all over again. But you have an advantage because obviously you've learned heaps of stuff from where you used to live, and you just need to apply those principles again to build your business up. So obviously doing really great work is number one. If you're doing really great work and serving your clients, you should have no problems. I would say if you can just go to as many events, networking things, put yourself in front of as many new people as possible, connect with people over the internet, ask to take them out for coffee, see what they're working on, see if you can help them in any way. Just try to offer value, and then in turn you should be able to get value back from these people in the way of maybe referrals, maybe working with them on jobs, and then in the future you can leverage those contacts to expand your network once again and keep flourishing in that new city. He also asks how to think creatively and not fall into the trend of copying photographers on social media. Yeah, so this is a trap that I think a lot of photographers struggle with falling into. The great thing about social media is that there are so many people out there doing all kinds of different things. So as long as you take influence from a bunch of different sources, then you should never really have to copy one style. Just taking little pieces from all over the place. You know, I like this particular thing about this photographer and this particular thing about another. It doesn't even have to be a photographer, it can be like someone who makes videos, and then combining that together and putting a little bit of yourself in there as well, hopefully. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight. However, you know, if you really take that seriously instead of just being lazy and just directly copying somebody else, then you can create something that's completely unique that other people will appreciate and probably copy you, but that's just how it's going to be. Paul Weber asks, for those of us looking to upgrade our gear, should we grab the EOS R at a discount or wait for the EOS R whatever it's going to be called, rumored to be coming this year. In my opinion, I would wait. Because that camera's not far off, you definitely want to see what the specs are going to be like. Canon have said that they're going to be making a massive jump up in terms of their video specs, so that's a really good sign. I'm not sure if that's true yet, remains to be seen. I don't think the price of the original EOS R is going to go back up. If anything, it's probably going to go even lower because they want to incentivize people to keep buying that camera as long as it's in production. Han Zahaha, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry. Will you make another Lightroom preset? The current one is quite amazing. Thank you so much, appreciate that. Took me a long time to create those presets. I don't think I'm gonna make a new version of that Lightroom preset. I'm really happy with how it is. Over time, I'll probably iterate it and just keep updating the preset. In the future, I might look at creating a different look, maybe, and then releasing that as a Lightroom preset. Possibly, we'll see what happens. Jericho Overson asks, how long have you been working as a photographer and how long have you been shooting overall? So I started shooting in 2011, that's when I bought my first camera, and I turned pro, became a full-time photographer and filmmaker at the end of 2013. So it has been 7 years now that I've been full-time. It's been amazing. That's one of the goals of this channel, is to help you guys go full-time, but more about that later. I'm going to be releasing some exciting new content this year that's going to help people do that. So it only took me, I think it was like a year and a half from being a hobbyist to going full-time. It was crazy. I pretty much got thrown in the deep end. I really want to make a video about like that whole journey of how I started as like just a hobbyist, someone who was just taking photos for fun, and then it turned into a full-time job. I think that would be a really cool video, really insightful video for you guys to see. CI asks, how do you tend to expose the shot if you plan to edit the photos to have the film look? I definitely underexpose the photos. My main priority is to keep the highlights intact, so I'll always expose for the highlights and then bring up the shadows in post. And luckily my camera does really great with recovering shadows, so if you do have a camera that's good with that, then underexpose. Definitely, that is my advice. CI also asks, can you help me with some tutorials for skin retouching? Yes, I can, and I've already made a video on that. I'll leave it down in the description below for anyone who's interested. You can go check it out as well. That wraps up the Q&A, guys. Thank you so much for all your awesome questions. I really appreciate your support on this channel. It's been awesome so far this year, and I'm looking forward to making so many more videos for you guys. And if you want to go and pick up the presets, 50% off, this is the code that you'll use. I'll leave the link in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.